Amorphous allotropes of carbon. We discussed about the different charcoal, wood charcoal, bone charcoal, sugar charcoal, and so on. So, how in overall what we have done is we have covered the various allotropes of carbon. Okay, they may be the crystalline or amorphous. Now we are moving on to the particularly carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. Both of these are combined form of the carbon. Okay, now you know that carbon dioxide, carbon dioxide, okay, that is nothing but carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is a gas, of course, and it occurs in either the free state or in the combined state. Okay, so in the free state it may occur in the atmosphere, okay, where the percentage of the carbon dioxide may be anywhere between 0.3 0.03 to 0.04%, okay, in the atmosphere, or it may be present in the earth crust, okay, in coal mines for example. Then in the combined state it can exist in some of the minerals like the limestone, okay. Limestone is nothing but calcium carbonate, or dolomite. Okay, dolomite is a combination of the magnesium carbonate and calcium carbonate. So most of the minerals will be in this kind of combined form. So dolomite is a combined form of magnesium carbonate, calcium carbonate. Also, it may be in a combined form in the case of the proteins, carbohydrates, okay, fats, nucleic acids, okay, vitamins, and so on. All these biomolecules. It may also be in the presence of the endo or exoskeleton of the animals. Endo or exoskeleton. Okay. Endoskeleton means bones, that is our skeleton. Okay. Human skeleton for example, and exoskeleton means like for in the crabs and shells and all of them have the outer one, right? So it is called exoskeleton. So in this way, the occurrence of carbon dioxide, okay, we see either in the free state or the combined state. Next, we will be looking at the how the carbon dioxide can be prepared in the laboratory preparation. Okay. So easiest way is you burn something. Okay, burn some kind of hydrocarbon, some fuel. Okay, if you burn some fuel in the presence of oxygen, it will give rise to the carbon dioxide, water, and it will release some energy. Okay. Now this fuel can be anything like petrol, diesel. Okay, it can be coal, it can be methane gas, okay, or butane gas or something like that, any of these things. So it should be having carbon. For example, if we take simply the pure form of carbon, it may be diamond, it may be graphite, it may be coke, for example. Just we are taking the carbon elemental form, burning in the presence of oxygen, that is a sufficient amount of oxygen, then we will get the carbon dioxide. Similarly, if you take methane, okay, methane is a gas. This gas will be produced, for example, we say biogas from cow dung and so on. People produce the biogas. So the major gas that is produced there is the methane gas. So methane gas also, when we burn, okay, then we get nothing but the carbon dioxide and water vapor. Okay, so this one is the one method. Other one is we can react the carbonate or bicarbonate with the dilute acid. Okay, reaction with the dilute acid. So for example, if we take the sodium carbonate, okay, and react it with the dilute acid. Okay, so acid and a bicarbonate, what is going to happen here, if we take is going to be NaCl, okay, and water will be released along with the carbon dioxide. Okay, so this is the sodium carbonate. If you take the bicarbonate form also, sodium bicarbonate NaHCO3, okay, and react with, say for example, sulfuric acid, then we get what? We get sodium sulfate plus water and carbon dioxide. Okay, this is a sodium bicarbonate. Okay. So sodium bicarbonate react with sulfuric acid to give rise to sodium sulfate. Sodium sulfate plus water and carbon dioxide. Okay. These two are the sodium salts. Okay. Sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate. But very commonly available. Okay. If you take the carbonate, that is the calcium carbonate. Nothing but the marble. Okay. So marbles, most of the people use marble flooring. Okay, different. Most of the places people are able to get commonly the marble. So if we do a reaction of the marble, for example, you take marble stones, marble chips, small pieces of marble, and react it with the dilute acid, then also what will form? The salt will form, that is the calcium chloride with water and carbon dioxide. Okay, so this is the marble. Okay, because yeah, any doubt?
So,
Yeah.
so suppose, so suppose in marble, a concentrated hydrochloric acid fall, then what kind of reaction takes place?
If we are using the dilute acid, okay, then it will be already with the dilute acid, it is giving what you say highly effervescent reaction. That means it will give lot of bubbling. This carbon dioxide formation will be appeared as a vigorous bubbling will be there. And when we work with concentrated acid, the reaction, because already it is very exothermic, okay, it produces a lot of gas, so it may be little bit difficult to control the reaction, particularly when we are doing in the laboratory. It can be very hazardous. The reaction will take place in the same way, okay, but it will be highly exothermic reaction. Okay. Yeah.
I wanted to ask that whether the acid present in the lime, whether this can react marble blocks.
I'm not able to get your question. Sorry.
Sir, I wanted to ask whether the acid present in lemon juice can react with marble blocks.
Yes, yes, definitely it will react. It will react. The reaction will be slow. So whatever the acid is there in the lemon, okay, that is a citric acid. So the citric acid, it is an organic acid, but the pH of that acid is also quite low. Okay, around 2 pH and like that. If you take HCl also, it is also having the very low pH, around 1 and 2 pH. Okay, because it is able to dissociate very strongly. So what happens is, how fast, how strongly that acid will react with this one depends upon how concentrated it is. Okay, if it is a bit diluted, then what will happen? It will react a bit slowly, and as it is reacting, this salt is formed. No, for example, calcium chloride or something, salt is formed. Generally, what will happen? That salt will form one layer on the top of that material. Okay, whatever that stone may be there or something, so it will protect that stone from getting continuous damage. Okay, but when we are using the concentrated or heated at a higher temperature, when we are using the acid, then what happens? Even that salt layer is sometimes not sufficient to protect the lower layers. Okay, it will react with the not so strong acid like a citric acid.
Sir,
Next.
I have a doubt.
Yeah.
So, like we know that marble has carbon. So, what is the like trick to find out that which substance has carbon? Like, if burning or if doing some activity, physical or chemical activity, will it show some specific feature, and that will help us to know that yes, this substance contains carbon in it.
Okay, so your question is that elemental composition. Okay, we are not interested in the molecular, we are interested in elemental composition, whether carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, this element is there or not. And if carbon is there, whether any specific reaction is there by which we can tell that carbon is present in that material. So when we are telling here reaction, there is no specific reaction to tell that whether that particular substance is having the carbon or not, means for universal. Okay, universal. For example, if you take it is a combined form, it is free form. Okay, for all types of one, you cannot take one simple reaction like burn it and see if carbon dioxide is coming. Okay, so it is not always possible, because it depends upon how much part of the composition is there. Okay, how it is. So what people do is to determine the elemental composition, they go for the different equipments. Okay, high end equipments are there, in which first it is dissolved, whatever that state may be, it may be dissolved. And you can go for different instruments. Okay, maybe it is a bit to this one, but the mass spectrophotometer. Okay, mass spectrophotometer, there is one specific instrument is there. So as of today, even if one hydrogen difference is there, it will be able to tell that yes, this element is there or not there, how much difference is there. So today gold standard, people use that instrument. They take whatever material you are interested, put in that machine, and that machine, what it will do, it will break down and volatilize that substance, and based upon its spectral properties, it will tell whether that element is there or not. Okay, so it is not a basically chemical reaction, it is what you can tell physical property. Based upon a physical intrinsic property, we are able to tell the elemental composition. Okay, so when you heat any substance, no, any substance, when you heat it, okay, then what will happen, it will absorb that energy, and when it absorbs that energy, okay, it will become that electrons that are there, you have studied about atomic structure, right? Electrons are there in orbits, no? Then what happens, the electron will get excited. Electron get excited, it will go to the higher orbits, and after it gone to the higher orbits, then it is not so stable, because it has got more energy, no? Then what it will do, it will try to come back, it will come try to become stable, then it will release that energy. So whatever that energy is released, okay, using that energy, okay, and these properties, this is spectral properties, we are able to tell the elemental composition. Okay, so that is a different one. Okay, we are going for those kind of methods to determine that whether the element is there or not. Okay, we'll move to the
See,
next one. Yeah.
in the beginning of the chapter, carbon was like the introduction was given that carbon is right from a Latin word which means that burn black. So, can we say that anything that burns and gives a black color has some amount of carbon present in it? Does that mean this?
Mm. I am not sure about the answer to this question, because I don't know if all the material on burning will give the black color or not. Okay, that part I am not 100% sure, but I can tell you that of course, if carbon burns down, okay, and it is coming to say only pure carbon form, generally it will appear as a black color. But you know that diamond is not black in color, that is also true. Okay, so always it need not be the case, right? Because a diamond is 100% pure carbon, but it can also be colorless. Yes. Next one.
Okay, sir.
Next one is a thermal decomposition. Thermal decomposition. Okay, by this method also we can produce the carbon dioxide. So if we take the sodium bicarbonate, okay, sodium bicarbonate, what is this all baking soda and all those things, you take that baking soda, we are putting in that one, doing the baking cookery and all those things. So what is happening, that the cakes and all those bakery stuff, they become fluffy. Okay, they are become fluffy because they are producing what gas, they are producing the carbon dioxide gas. Okay, the bakery products are producing carbon dioxide gas. So basically what we are doing, we are putting the baking powder okay, or all those things. So this sodium bicarbonate, when we are heating, it is going to decompose and form this sodium carbonate, and it is also going to release this carbon dioxide, which is going to make the fluffy kind of a thing. Okay, so these are some methods by which we can produce the carbon dioxide in the laboratory or in simple means. There are some physical properties. Okay, some physical properties of carbon dioxide. Okay, so it's like a colorless and odorless gas, and of course no one want to taste any gas, but of course if anyone will taste the carbon dioxide gas, it will be slightly sour in taste. Okay, it will be sour in taste because when this carbon dioxide reacts with water, when carbon dioxide reacts with water, what it produces? It produces the carbonic acid H2CO3, H2CO3, okay, H2CO3, which is the carbonic acid. So you know that acids generally they taste sour in taste, no? So that is why. So if someone is inhaling or taking carbon dioxide in the mouth, fill up the mouth with carbon dioxide, it will slightly sour in taste. So also this gas, that is the carbon dioxide gas, is about 1.5 times heavier than the air. Okay, it is 1.5 times heavier than the air, and therefore you can sometimes in the movies or here and there or in some kind of a stage performance, you will be able to see that some gases are being released into that stage to create some kind of a smoky kind of atmosphere. Okay, so in that kind of water they use it, they use the carbon dioxide. Okay, that the carbon dioxide being heavier, it will not very fast, it will not go into the atmosphere, it will be more close to the level of the feet. Okay, it will not go very high. So and also carbon dioxide is not so toxic as compared to carbon monoxide. Okay, therefore the people will not die because of that one. Okay, so but it will be able to create that kind of a visual effect. So in this way, also even the plants are aquatic plants are there, they are able to survive under the water, because you know that for photosynthesis, do the plants need oxygen or carbon dioxide?
Carbon
They
dioxide.
need carbon dioxide, no? So with carbon dioxide and water, they will fix it to make the glucose and will release the oxygen. Okay, okay, they will repair the glucose and release the oxygen. So what they are doing basically in photosynthesis, they are fixing this carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Okay, so whatever this carbon dioxide is there in the atmosphere, it has to get inside the water, no? Otherwise the aquatic plants, how they are able to catch this carbon dioxide? So basically what happens is this carbon dioxide, it can dissolve in water. Okay, it can dissolve in water, but how well it dissolve in water? It is very less actually. Okay, compared to oxygen. Oxygen is 21% in the atmosphere, right? And also in the water also it dissolves very well. Okay, so but carbon dioxide does not dissolve so well in the water, but still that is sufficient for the plants to conduct their photosynthesis. Okay, and other thing is that of course any gas, if you will lower the temperature, if you lower the temperature of any gas, the state of the gas will change from the gas state to what state? To liquid state, and maybe to the solid state. Okay, so the same thing here with the carbon dioxide. When we reduce the temperature, go up to minus 78 degrees centigrade, it will become the solid. Okay, and
So
um,
you mentioned that the carbon is fixed there. So what is the process? What is the name of the process of carbon fixing?
photosynthesis. Okay, the process of
Okay,
fixing the
sir.
carbon dioxide from the atmosphere is called photosynthesis in the presence of sunlight. Okay, so here what is happening, the carbon dioxide gas will convert into liquid and then can be converted into solid at minus 78 degrees centigrade. It will appear as a snow white solid, but at minus 20 degrees centigrade we say that it is the what ice we say, that is the um,
Dry ice.
Dry ice, yes, yes, that is the dry ice. Good. Okay, we say it is the dry ice. So dry ice is used very commonly. Okay, it's not very such a extraordinary laboratory product or something. Dry ice is used very commonly. Okay, for example, people want to send a material over long distances, they want to refrigerate. So generally what they will do, they will put this dry ice and they will put in the thermocol kind of packing and nicely seal it. Okay, so because if you use the regular ice, that water ice, okay, then what will happen, the ice will melt and it will form what, it will form the liquid water, and that liquid water may damage your product, no, whatever product you are trying to transport.
Yes,
So that
sir.
may, and also it will become heavy, and also it may catch so many type of fungus and bacteria, and all those things will also start growing, it will become very messy. So but when we use the dry ice, what happens is that it will simply evaporate and become the gas. Okay, and therefore what happens, your product also it stays dry. Okay, it stays dry, and it does not result in lot of dirt and all those things. Okay, therefore dry ice at minus 20 degrees centigrade, minus 78 degrees centigrade is snow white solid.
Yes, sir. Sir, these organs, donated organs are also kept in dry ice.
Yes, they can be kept in a dry ice. Okay, but there are of course a different refrigeration, but because for transport, as I told, preferred one is the dry ice. Next,
Sir,
yes.
excuse me, sir, if carbon dioxide is dry as at minus 20 degrees Celsius and snow white solid at minus 78 degrees Celsius, what is the melting point or the freezing point of carbon dioxide? Minus 78 degrees Celsius or minus 20 degrees Celsius?
You see, when we say melting point, melting means what is going to change into what? Melting solid
Solid into water.
into liquid, correct? Solid into liquid. So when here is also solid, and here dry ice is also solid. Okay, so solid, here it will sublimate. Here solid, it will not become liquid, it will sublimate, direct sublimation. Okay, minus 20 direct sublimation to gas. Okay, from solid to gas sublimation. So melting point, I think you can check on the internet or something, what is the exact melting point of carbon dioxide. Okay, and then you can compare and see, because here it is a sublimation, maybe this is, maybe you need to just check. It is a good question, you can check once. Okay, next we'll look at the chemical properties of water.